intro, approximate. 400 words. Narrator soft, inviting tone. Halloween. A night of masks, monsters, and mischief. A night where the veil between our world and the unknown grows thin. You carve your pumpkins, hang up your cobwebs, dress like something you're not, and hope nothing real answers the invitation. But what if Halloween isn't just a celebration of fear? What if it's a magnet for it? Tonight, we're diving into 8 true stories. Stories that happened on Halloween night. Stories of things seen and felt. Things that left people shaken long after the candy was gone. These aren't ghost stories from movies. These happened to real people on the scariest night of the year. So grab your blanket, turn off the lights, and remember, some costumes don't come off. Let's begin. Story 1. The Basement Man. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. In 2017, in a quiet suburb in Ohio, 12-year-old Ellie was at home helping her mom decorate the porch for trick-or-treaters. Her dad had gone to get more candy. Her mom went inside to check the chili. Ellie stayed on the porch. That's when she heard something from the basement vent. A voice. Muffled. Basement voice, faint, raspy. "Let me out." First she laughed. Thought it was her little brother. But then she remembered he was at a friend's house. She leaned down and whispered, "Ellie, nervous. Who's there?" Basement voice. "I've been here so long." She screamed. Her mom rushed out. They called the police. When they arrived and opened the basement, no one was there. But on the far wall, behind the water heater, was a hole, covered in old boards. And behind that, another room. Inside was a mattress, food wrappers, and chains. They never found the man. But the police think he'd been living there for weeks. Story 2. The Wrong House. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. James was a teenager in a small town in Vermont. It was Halloween 2004, and he was out egging houses with his friends. Dumb but typical teenage stuff. They picked a big old Victorian house at the edge of town. Lights off, curtains drawn, perfect target. James threw the first egg. It hit the window and the curtain moved. Then, something fast, like a shadow, zipped past the glass. Friend shouting, "Run!" They scattered. James tripped over a root in the dark. When he looked up, someone was standing at the end of the yard. Not chasing, just watching. The man was tall, wore an old military-style coat, and something about him was wrong. James scrambled up and ran home. The next day, he walked past that same house with his mom. But it wasn't abandoned. It was burned down. 20 years ago. That lot, it had been empty ever since. Story 3. The Last Trick-or-Treater. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. Diana loved Halloween. She went all out every year. Full decorations, handmade costumes, full-sized candy bars. By 9 p.m., the trick-or-treaters had stopped. She turned off her porch light and settled in. That's when the knock came. Knock, knock, knock. She opened the door. A little girl stood there, silent, dressed like a scarecrow. No parents in sight. Diana gently. "Hi there, sweetheart. Kinda late." "Huh." No answer. Diana dropped a candy bar into the girl's bag, and the girl slowly looked up. Her eyes were completely black. Diana froze. The girl turned and walked off into the street. No car, no family, just gone. Diana told her neighbors. No one else saw a little girl that night. And the next morning, there was straw on her porch. Story 4. The Mask in the Mirror. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. In 1998, Rachel was in college and hosting her first Halloween party in her apartment. She dressed as a vampire. Lots of eyeliner. Dramatic cape. She took a selfie in her bathroom mirror, back when digital cameras were still a thing. The night was fun. Music, drinks, pumpkin carving. The usual. Later, while cleaning up, she checked her camera. And there it was. In the bathroom photo. Behind her, a man, wearing a cheap rubber devil mask. Rachel, confused. I don't remember anyone with that costume?" She asked everyone at the party. No one wore it. No one remembered seeing that mask. But the worst part? The man wasn't facing the camera. He was facing her. And his hand was reaching for her shoulder. She never saw him in person. Only in that photo. But she moved out 2 weeks later. Story 5. Pumpkin Eyes. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. In 2003, in a quiet desert town in Arizona, a man named Brent was driving home late after a Halloween shift at the hospital. He passed by a scarecrow display. Pretty normal, hay bales, fake crows, pumpkins with candles inside. Except, one of the pumpkins turned to look at him. Brent narrating. "At first I thought I was tired, hallucinating, but I slowed down, reversed, and saw it again. The jack-o'-lantern had human eyes. Not painted, real eyes, looking back at him. He drove off, didn't stop." Later that week, a local woman was reported missing. Last seen walking near that display. When police searched the area, they found remains. And inside the scarecrow, a human skull, carved, lit from within. Story 6. The Party in the Woods. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. Lena and her friends went to a rumored Halloween rave deep in the Oregon woods. They followed printed flyers and GPS pins until they reached a clearing. Lights, music, bonfire, dozens of people dancing in elaborate costumes. It was surreal, but fun. Lena noticed something odd, though. No one spoke. They danced, but silently. Eyes hidden behind masks. Movements strange, almost twitchy. One man in a plague doctor mask walked past her. Slowly. Plague doctor whispers, "Leave. Now." She ran. When she got back to the road, there was nothing. Just trees. No light. No music. The flyers disappeared the next day. And none of her friends remembered it clearly. It was like the party never happened. Story 7. The House That Wasn't There. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. In 1995, a group of kids went trick-or-treating in rural Virginia. They hit every house in the neighborhood, and then found one they hadn't seen before. It was big, old, covered in ivy, porch light flickering. They rang the bell. A woman answered, dressed like a 1950s housewife. She smiled, said trick or treat, and gave them weird old candy. Necco wafers, Mary Jane's, stuff even their parents didn't like. They moved on, ate some candy, felt weird. One of the kids, Micah, started puking. The others felt dizzy, sick. They told their parents. The adults returned to the house the next day, and it wasn't there. The lot was overgrown, empty. No signs a house had ever stood there. Micah recovered, but every Halloween after that, he'd get violently sick. Every year, same day, same time. Story 8. Something in the Fog. Approximate. 500 words. Narrator. On Halloween night in Maine, the fog rolled in heavy, thick, wet. You couldn't see 5 feet in front of you. Chris, a high school senior, was driving home after a party. He slowed down near a stretch of forest. That's when he saw it. A figure in the fog, standing still in the road. He braked, rolled down his window, Chris calling out, "Hey, you okay?" The figure didn't move. Chris flicked his high beams. Suddenly, the figure was next to his door. No sound, no steps, just there. He slammed the gas, drove through the fog like a bat out of hell. When he got home, there were handprints on his car window. From the inside, OUTRO, approximate. 400 words. Narrator soft, unnerving. 8 stories. 8 glimpses into the darker side of Halloween. Some were shadows. Some were strangers. Some were things we still can't explain. But they all remind us of one thing. That Halloween is more than just costumes and candy. It's old, ancient. A night when the world shifts just a little. When things slip through. When the line between pretend and real becomes dangerously thin. So next time someone knocks on your door after midnight, next time you see something move behind your reflection, next time you hear a whisper in the fog, Ask yourself, is it part of the fun? Or did something answer the call? Happy Halloween. Sleep tight,